Bon après-midi. Bienvenue à cette conférence de presse A-220. Good afternoon and welcome to this A-220 press conference. Mon nom est Annabelle Duchesne, je suis responsable des communications pour Airbus au Canada et je serai votre maîtresse de cérémonie aujourd'hui. My name is Annabelle Duchesne. I'm Director Communications for Airbus in Canada and I will be your MC today. Puisque notre client, Air Asia, est parmi nous aujourd'hui, nous allons tenir la majorité de la conférence de presse en anglais, entrecoupée évidemment de quelques allocutions en français. Nous vous remercions d'avance pour votre compréhension. As the event is being held in Quebec and includes many French-speaking A220 colleagues, part of the program will be delivered in French. However, to ensure that all our guests, including those joining us internationally, who may not speak French, can fully follow the discussions, most of the program will be conducted in English. Thank you for your understanding. Please note that this event is being live-streamed locally for our 4,000 A220 colleagues and internationally for the media. Veuillez noter que cet événement est retransmis en direct localement à nos 4000 collègues à 220 et à des médias internationaux. In the next minutes, we will have important speakers coming on stage to address a few words, which will be followed by a signature ceremony and a short question and answer session. I would now like to acknowledge the presence in the room today of Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, Minister of Industry Canada, Mélanie Joly, la première ministre du Québec, Premier of Québec, Fréchette, le ministre de l'Économie, de l'Innovation et de l'Énergie du Québec, Bernard Drainville, Minister of Economy, Innovation and Energy of Quebec. Ainsi que des invités distingués, membres du Parlement, as well as distinguished guests and members of Parliament. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Tony Fernandes, CEO, Capital 8 and advisor to Air Asia Group, who has traveled a long way to join us today in Mirabel. And of course, as well as some members of the Air Asia team. Finally, we also have the honor of having the presence of Lars Wagner, CEO Commercial Aircraft at Airbus. Thank you everyone for being with us today in Mirabel for this very special occasion. Merci d'avoir pu nous rejoindre ici à Mirabel aujourd'hui pour cette occasion très spéciale. Sans plus tarder, j'aimerais accueillir Lars Wagner, PDG pour les avions commerciaux d'Airbus. I would now like to invite Lars Wagner, CEO Commercial Aircraft at Airbus, to come to the stage.
Wow, what a special day. Prime Minister Carney, Premier Fréchette, dear Tony, dear colleagues, distinguished guests, chers collègues, distingués invités. Merci de vous joindre à nous à Mirabel. Thank you for joining us in Mirabel. Tony, it's been a long way from Kuala Lumpur, but obviously today there's no better place than being here in Mirabel, the birthplace of the A220. We're here all together today as the 220 marks a major milestone in the existing of the program. I'm very happy to announce today that Air Asia is ordering 150 A220s for its major fleet renewal. Woo! With that announcement today, Air Asia will also become the launch customer of this new configuration that carries up to 160 passengers. Thank you. We have, Tony, with that order, we have now surpassed 1,100 orders, and that's a great milestone for the program almost 10 years after its existence. Prime Minister Carney, Premier Fréchette, and ministers, your presence today underscores that aerospace isn't just about planes. It's about jobs, it's about global trade, it's about reinforcing the Canadian and the Quebec economies and the unique aviation competencies. Par votre présence aujourd'hui, vous prouvez que l'aviation, c'est bien plus que des avions. Ce sont des femmes et des hommes, des compétences clés et une passerelle vers les marchés mondiaux. Nous sommes ici pour soutenir la croissance économique et l'expertise aérospatiale unique du Canada et de nos régions. Government support is a backbone of the innovation we see in this hangar, and we don't take this for granted. There's a specific energy here in Quebec, and I see that today in reality, that mix of innovation and determination, and that matches the Air Asia spirit. Air Asia, actually, Tony, you changed the world of flying when you entered the A220 in the Asian market, and now you're going to do it again with the A220. Once again, this Airbus, small plane, this Airbus game-changing aircraft will allow you to connect cities that haven't been connected so far yet. And the A220, as everyone I'm sure in this room knows, is the only clean sheet design in its class, and that is shown by the numbers, minus 25% of fuel burn reduction, and with that CO2 reduction. That is so important in today's environment. Thank you. And let's talk about the passengers. For the passengers, the experience is unbeatable. And I'm flying with that aircraft a lot already in Europe. It's a small single aisle with a wide body feel. What's so special about it? It's wider seats, huge windows with natural light, and increased overhead space. It's really a lot of space in the cabin. And with that, you're redefining your guest journeys into a true alleviated experience. In other words, the 220 is a dream for low-cost carriers. It's efficient, and it's designed for faster boarding, for longer routes, and less time in hangars. So it doesn't just fly, it really performs. Dear Tony, at Airbus, we thank you a lot for your trust, and we don't take that for granted. This year actually marks the 25th year of Air Asia operations. And kudos to you, Tony, and kudos to your all-star team behind that. That's a remarkable success. This order is a massive vote of confidence in this facility and in the people of Mirabel, of Quebec, and of Canada, and actually every aircraft Tony will receive that comes out of the Mirabel facilities. It demonstrates as well that it was right for us to bring the A220 under the wings of the full Airbus portfolio. Let's go and build these planes from this hangar and get them into your fleet as soon as possible. Let me end with saying, in my words, today is a win-win-win-win day. A win, obviously, for Asia. Tony, you're getting the plane, a very nice plane, as soon as possible. A win as well for Canada and Quebec. It's a massive step towards your competencies and capabilities in this region. It's a win for all of us, for you, the colleagues here in Mirabel, as this is a secured employment for the years to come. And it's also a win for Airbus, as it brings us closer to our growth trajectory. And we might even do more with that fantastic platform. So with that, merci à chacun pour votre présence aujourd'hui pour annoncer ensemble cette commande unique. Thank you all for your presence today to celebrate together this unique order announcement. Thank you.
Merci, Lars. Thank you, Lars. I will now ask Mr. Tony Fernandes, CEO Capital A Advisor Air Asia Group, to come to the stage. Thank you.
Prime Minister, this is something new for me. I have been given 5 minutes to speak, which is really not something I'm good at doing. But like Air Asia, I will be on time. Especially with the 220. Right Honourable Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, the Honourable Christine Fréchette, Premier of Quebec, the Honourable Melanie Joly, Minister of Industry and Minister responsible for Canada Economic Development for Quebec regions, Mr. Bernard Ranville, Minister for Ministry of Economy, Innovation, Energy, Quebec, Mr. Lars Wagner, Mr. Guillaume Cheverson, both from Airbus, representatives of the Canadian federal and Quebec government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and most important, staff of Air Asia Canada, of Airbus Canada. I'm getting ready to take over. Sorry, that was already 1 minute, by the way, the salutations. Pardon, but l'attention reçue au Québec de l'immigration à Airbus Canada fait grandir mon amour pour cette grande province et ces pays. Merci du fond de mon cœur. Bonjour and good afternoon. My love for Canada started about 30 years ago when I was in the music business. David Foster was a great friend of mine and still is. And I signed a band, showing my age now, Bare Naked Ladies. And of course, I re-signed Joni Mitchell, my dear friend and an icon of Canadian music. And in 2017, when I first came to Montreal, I owned a Formula One team, one of the crazier things I did in my life. I've never been to a Formula One race ever again, because every time I see the car going around, I think of all the money I lost in that period. But you only live once, so I did it. We had a fantastic partnership before this wonderful relationship here. Our first relationship with a Canadian company was CAE, where we established a joint venture to train our pilots and engineers. And that partnership still exists, and Mark Parent was very much a family member of Air Asia. But then I came to see one of Canada's great entrepreneurs, Pierre Beaudoin, who had the dream to build the C-Series, which is now the 220. And I would be remiss not to remember him, because it takes entrepreneurs with guts to go and do crazy things. And I don't want to forget him, and I told him, you know, the first plane was he, for many times, kept asking me to buy the C-Series, and I said, I need you to make it a little bit longer. And unfortunately it didn't, but Airbus did, and hence we're buying it. And so, thank you, Pierre. I hope you hear this somewhere. And thank you for making this dream come true as well. We're going to name our first plane after him for his efforts in bringing this plane. You know, I have a funny story. After I visited this place in 2017, Prime Minister, about 1 week later, Airbus came to see me, the guys here, Jerome, to tell me what a terrible plane it was, and that I should not buy it, all the reasons why I shouldn't buy it. They should buy the 220, the 320, the C-Series was a terrible aircraft. 6 months later, and I still have the presentation, when Airbus took over this program, the same man, Jerome, came to see me and brought me another presentation to say this is the greatest aircraft Airbus have ever made. Jerome, where are you? This is Jerome, who told me it was a lousy plane, then said it was the greatest plane. But from the moment, actually, when I flew it in 2017, Montreal is a fantastic city, and I had been drinking all night, and I turned up in Mirabel with a massive hangover, and really the last thing I wanted to do was a test flight. But I was blown away by what an incredible aircraft it was, even in 2017, and the only reason we didn't buy it at that point was we just wanted it to be a little bit longer, and now you've done it. So the 220 is not just an aeroplane, it's a symbol of Canadian perseverance and innovation. And I thank Pierre, and I thank all of you for all the efforts you've put in making this new aircraft, which is 160 seats. And we hope, you know, we look at Guillaume and we look at Lars. Guillaume represents 160 seats, but we really hope that you will build the Lars version, which is the 220-500, which is 185 seats. That's the aircraft we really want. So Lars, you know, get a move on. We do want that aircraft. And we have committed, if they build that aircraft, so you can put them all under pressure today, if they build that aircraft, Air Asia will buy another 150 of these aircraft as well. No pressure, Lars, no pressure. You know, the press conference in 2017, I said, you know, when they asked me, how will this relationship with Canada go? I said, well, we've just started this romance. Let's see where it goes. And today I can say we really are married. We really are together now. I really want to announce the deal here in Canada, Quebec, and Mirabel for two reasons. One, because I think it's very, very important, and I was thrilled just now to meet so many of you on the shop floor. It's the 4,000 workers here in Mirabel that we appreciate all your hard work, and we want you to think of Air Asia as part of your family as well. We want to thank all of you, not just the bosses, but all the 4,000 people who allowed us to dream and live our tagline, now everyone can fly. This 150 order allows us to continue to dream and make the world smaller. Thank you very much, all the staff at Mirabel and Airbus Canada. This order is a vote of confidence to all of you, of all your hard work, diligence, passion, and heart. You're not just assembling fuselages, but you're building the future of global travel for the common man. Because of you, Canada is the heartbeat of the aerospace world. Merci beaucoup, everyone at Airbus Canada. And secondly, well, you can clap. And secondly, because of the amazing leader that's standing in front of me, Prime Minister Mark Carney. At Davos, you blew away all of us in Asia. and no one represents the values of Air Asia more than you. We're an airline that delivers what you know, market society. 21,000 employees, no unions, the first airline in Asia that had female pilots, and staff who at one point carried bags, who are now captains, telephone operators who are now CEO. We built a culture that even though you didn't go to the best universities, if you wanted to be the best, we allowed you to be the best. Some people have money, so they can go to have better education, but a lot of people in my part of the world missed out. And so we wanted to create a level playing field that everyone could achieve and dream and be the best. We also believe in a society that values integrity, resilience, solidarity, and sustainability. My whole life, I've been shouting out for middle powers to stand up and be counted. And now we have a leader in middle power. Thank you, Prime Minister Carney. He didn't pay me for this. You know, I don't generally like bankers, but he's the first banker I've liked. Especially from Goldman Sachs. I'm a huge believer in ASEAN, sir, which can be a huge middle power. And I keep telling my 10 prime ministers that they should be working closer and closer together, and that working together is only going to benefit the people of ASEAN. And today, this deal brings two great middle powers together, ASEAN and Canada. This is a $19 billion deal, which can grow to $38 billion if we have the Lars version, showing what Canada and ASEAN middle powers can do. I must also thank Lars. Welcome to this job. As Minister Jolie said, it's all happened since you've come. So make sure Guillaume gives you a good bonus. You'll do an amazing job at Airbus. Your humility is amazing. Your approachability and the fact that you want to get things done is a breath of fresh air to all of us in the airline business. And in their absence, Chris, Anand, and Benoit, who have worked incredibly hard. This deal took about 1 year to put together, and Airbus really, really worked hard. And of course, my dear friend Jerome, who continues to lie to me for the past 20-odd years. But he's a good cook. We've now bought 800 planes from you, Airbus, and you've been a wonderful partner. And everyone should know, it's easy to be a great partner when things are going well. But we've been through many, many crises, COVID, now this present crisis. I've had everything thrown at me, but we're a very resilient lot. And because we have great partners, we always find a way through. Thank you also to Rick and Martha in her absence. I've bought 1,600 engines from General Electric. This is a new feeling for me, buying a Pratt engine. Rick, you're a fantastic guy. You never stop smiling, even when I ask you for yet another discount. So thank you for that. I think we'll make Pratt proud of how we use this engine. Thanks for all your efforts in that. I also should mention that this was a competition between another company, Embraer, who also did a fantastic job. And it was very tough choosing. And I want to thank Francisco, who's the CEO, who also put in a lot of effort. You know, 25 years ago, I had a dream. I was in the music business. I was signing artists. I was dealing with Madonna, Bare Naked Ladies, Rush. And I got tired of Americans telling me what to do, which probably echoes with some of you now. So in Rockefeller Plaza, I resigned and flew to London and sat in a bar thinking, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And I saw a guy called Stelios who owned an airline called EasyJet. And I thought, what a great idea. And I took a bus to Luton Airport and saw people flying to Barcelona for £6, Paris for £8. And I thought, this is what I'm going to do. I always say in my speeches, there's a very fine line between brilliance and stupidity. But I was only 36, and I thought if I failed, I could become a politician. Please let me out of Canada, by the way. I bought Air Asia for 25 cents. 2 planes, 200 staff. Today, despite all the crisis, we've carried 1 billion people, the fourth largest airline in Asia, and have 250 planes, with another 550 to come now with this order. We've been through many crises. You know, people will be wondering, why are we buying so many planes during this latest crisis? But crises are an opportunity to make bold decisions and to go out there and be aggressive. And wars will not go on forever. I mean, this is a crazy war that should never have happened, but it is what it is. But we're not going to slow down, and we think ahead, we look at the future. And this 220 will really, really take us to another level. You know, I look at Southeast Asia. When I looked at Southeast Asia all those years ago, I believe the skies belong to everyone. Prime Minister Carney, you look at Canada and believe that opportunities must belong to everyone as well. Today, our shared vision of accessibility and ambition at the tarmac at Mirabel, Quebec, they finally meet. Crises are opportunities. To everyone, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your warm welcome. Thank you, Prime Minister Carney, for gracing us despite your busy schedule. For all the wonderful politicians there in front of me, please give Lars more pressure to make the other 150 planes. But I say, you're looking at a dream. We were a dream to try and make flying affordable for Asians. Only 6% of Malaysians flew before Air Asia came. Today, 86% of Malaysians fly. And so, but the best part is creating jobs, and I hope in our small way, we will create many more jobs in Quebec and Mirabel and Canada. You have a wonderful country, you have a wonderful people. I always say to my staff, believe the unbelievable. It's okay to believe that the unbelievable. We are unbelievable. No one would have believed someone who signed the Bare Naked Ladies would buy 150 A220s. And dare to dream. It's okay to dream. From some dreams come some amazing things. And never take no for an answer when Airbus says they can't do it. Thank you very much. J'adore Canada. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fernandes. J'inviterai maintenant notre Premier ministre du Canada, our Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, à monter sur la scène to come to the stage. Merci.
Alors, Tony, that was the best 5 minutes I've ever had. That's amazing. Quel plaisir, quel honneur, quel plaisir d'être ici à Mirabel avec vous, Madame la Première ministre du Québec, le mairesse terrien, la ministre de l'Industrie, Monsieur le ministre de Ranville, mes collègues parlementaires, les membres de l'Assemblée nationale et les innovateurs, les travailleurs et travailleuses d'Airbus ici. C'est incroyable. It's so good to be here. It's so much fun. And I only have 5 minutes. No, I have a little more, but I want to provide a bit of context because I'm going to pick up on a few things that Tony said much better than me because he lived it. But we're here today because of the combined power of entrepreneurs, of builders, and yes, of governments. Governments that have fallen on the brilliant side of that line between brilliance and stupidity. I'd like to think. The power that's building a stronger, more resilient, more independent Canada. A power that's deepening the links between Canada and ASEAN. Very important point, deepening the links between Canada and ASEAN to the benefit of our workers, our families, our tourists, our business people. And the very first link in that chain is the entrepreneur, the risk taker, the builder. And so let me salute Tony Fernandes, who is an entrepreneur extraordinaire, who took the risk, took a series of risks, and that's why we're all gathered today for a brighter future. And Tony and I have known each other for a bit, but when we last saw each other was in October in Kuala Lumpur for ASEAN. And we were discussing the various crises that we'd been through in the past, financial crises, COVID. And we discussed how best to respond to a world that's changing even more dramatically in many respects than then. And we shared a vision of deepening ties between those countries that in this crisis that we're still living through are choosing to build in the face of adversity. Countries that have the confidence to open up, to link their economies, to invest in their workers, to move forward, not turn back. And I emphasize to Tony that Canada is once again building big at home and creating reliable partnerships abroad, including very much with ASEAN. So Tony, thank you. Thank you for the trust you're placing in Canadian workers, in Quebec, in Mirabel. You're choosing the best at exactly the right time. And thank you for recognizing, as you did in your words, the Canadian entrepreneurs and risk takers, including Pierre Baudouin, who created the C-Series, the predecessor, that terrible plane, apparently, transformed immediately, overnight. The C-Series, the predecessor of the A-220. And thank you, above all, to the workers and builders at Airbus that are now making it happen. Merci à vous, Lars, merci à vous, Guillaume, et l'équipe d'Airbus pour votre leadership. Par-dessus tout, merci aux travailleurs et travailleurs d'ici à Mirabel et de tout le Canada qui bâtissent l'excellence de notre pays dans le secteur de l'aviation. Le Canada a toujours été un pays de bâtisseurs. Dans le passé, par exemple, en février 1909, un jeune ingénieur au nom de J.A.D. McCurdy décolla depuis la banquise de lac Bras-d'Or. Ce fut le premier vol motorisé de l'histoire du Canada et le premier de tout l'Empire britannique. McCurdy était un bâtisseur et un homme audacieux. Il a consacré à des projets que d'autres jugeaient impossibles, notamment la première traversée aérienne entre la Floride et Cuba. En 1928, McCurdy quitte les exploits aériens pour bâtir cette industrie. Il s'installe à Montréal, fonde Reed Aircraft, l'un des tout premiers grands constructeurs aéronautiques du Québec. Le site qu'il a développé est devenu Canada, puis Bombardier, la ligne même qui nous a donné la série C, devenue aujourd'hui la 220 que nous célébrons. Aujourd'hui, cette industrie aérospatiale regroupe plus de 60 000 travailleurs et génère environ 15 milliards de dollars par année pour notre économie. Et cette même conviction que l'ambition et la détermination peuvent changer le cours d'un pays est celle que nous mobilisons aujourd'hui. So today, consistent with the conversation we had those few months ago, amidst this global turmoil, Canada, Quebec, we're focused on what we can control. We're building our strength at home. We're diversifying our trade with reliable partners abroad. We're catalyzing across Canada $1 trillion in total investment over the next 5 years across clean and conventional energy, trade corridors, critical minerals, AI, aerospace, defense, and beyond. We're helping to transform and train our workforce, including through last week's announcement of a $6 billion investment in Team Canada Strong, to recruit, to train, to hire over 100,000 new skilled trades workers in the next 5 years. Et lundi, nous soutenons également, grâce à Madame la ministre de l'Industrie, nous soutenons également les travailleurs, les entreprises touchées par les droits de douane américains injustifiés. Nous avons lancé un nouveau programme de financement d'1 milliard de dollars destiné au secteur de l'acier, de l'aluminium et du cuivre, ainsi qu'une réponse régionale de 500 millions de dollars couvrant tous les secteurs de l'économie, dont 105 millions de dollars pour le Québec. We're creating new opportunities for Canadian businesses through more than 20 economic and security partnerships that we've signed on 5 continents in less than a year. We're working towards concluding comprehensive free trade agreements with India, with Thailand, the Philippines, Mercosur, and above all, ASEAN this year. Foreign direct investment into Canada is already at its highest level in nearly 2 decades. It's running at twice the rate on a per capita basis as our nearest G7 competitor. And we're just getting started. Just like you. Just like Tony. Et partout dans le monde, nos partenaires voient ce que le Canada est en train de bâtir, ainsi que la certitude et la stabilité que nous pouvons offrir. Les entreprises choisissent le Canada parce que nous avons ce que le monde recherche. Le Québec a ce que le monde recherche. Et ici à Mirabel, les travailleurs et les innovateurs construisent ce que le monde recherche. Je suis très heureux, tellement heureux, car Air Asia procédera avec la plus importante commande d'avions canadiens de l'histoire. De l'histoire. C'est incroyable. Et je suis tellement heureux que ces appareils seront construits exactement ici. Cet accord, comme Lars l'a mentionné, cet accord marque un tournant pour l'industrie aérospatiale québécoise, dynamique et de calibre mondial. Pour des milliers d'ingénieurs, d'électriciens, de soudeurs et de spécialistes en technologie de l'information, cela représente des emplois bien rémunérés et stimulants. Est une occasion de construire un avion de classe mondiale qui reliera de millions de personnes à plus d'occasions, à plus de destinations, à plus de moments avec leurs proches. The A220-300 is a showcase of Canadian ingenuity. Lower fuel consumption, reduced emissions, smaller noise footprint, advanced propulsion system, lightweight materials, cutting-edge aerodynamics, built, and you said, Lars, as everyone here knows, with the clean sheet design. I know that it was built with a clean sheet design. I have no idea what that means, but it says that right there. I have an idea. I do have an idea. I don't really know. Developed by scratch by Canadian workers. For de plus de 5000 travailleuses et travailleurs hautement qualifiés, le Canada accueille le 16 le plus important de programmes A-220 d'Airbus à l'extérieur de l'Europe. C'est un succès retentissant. You know, since 2016, Airbus's Canadian workforce has more than doubled. You've harnessed world-class Canadian talent across engineering, computer science, aeronautics, and including through deep collaborations with our institutions, including McGill, University of Waterloo, many others. This facility, this Mirabel facility, is a cornerstone of that success, combining engineering, advanced research, administration, final assembly in one integrated operation. But it's also important to recognize that behind every aircraft assembled here is a broader network of suppliers, builders, technicians, innovators across the country. Steel workers fulfilling new orders with the certainty of a stable paycheck. Engineering graduates knowing they have the first opportunity to apply their skills students knowing they should go into engineering to be part of this industry, mechanics who transform blueprints into the industrial marvels we see on the floor, all working together to deliver world-class aircraft. In the end, as at the beginning, it's the entrepreneurs who imagine, the workers who build, and the governments, including very much the government of Quebec, the governments who back them. That's how Canada and Quebec win. That is what the world is choosing today. Et c'est comment nous construisons une économie plus forte, plus indépendante et plus résiliente. Un Mirabel fort, un Québec fort, un Canada fort, au bénéfice de tous. Merci beaucoup. Congratulations to you both.
Merci, Monsieur le Premier ministre. Thank you, Prime Minister. Je demanderai maintenant à Mme Christine Fréchette, Première ministre du Québec, de bien vouloir s'avancer au lutrin, s'il vous plaît. I'll now ask Christine Fréchette, Premier of Quebec, to come to the podium, please.
Merci beaucoup. Quelle belle journée, quelle journée inspirante, pleine d'audace. Monsieur le Premier ministre Carney, ravi de vous revoir pour cette magnifique annonce. Ministre Joly, cher Bernard, chers collègues députés et chers élus, vous êtes nombreux ici présents. Également mes salutations à Monsieur Lars Wagner et également à Monsieur Guillaume Chevasson et à Monsieur Tony Fernandes. Vraiment, the star of the day. Et mes salutations à tous les employés ici, à tous ceux qui travaillent à créer ces succès, ces réussites. C'est grâce à vous si on est ici aujourd'hui. C'est parce que vous y avez investi toute votre énergie, votre créativité, vos efforts, et ça donne des résultats exemplaires qui nous tirent de l'avant. J'aimerais saluer aussi toutes les personnes qui sont avec nous en ligne. Alors, c'est un grand jour aujourd'hui, un grand jour pour l'industrie spatiale, et c'est un grand jour aussi pour notre capacité, comme nation, à faire des choix ambitieux et à les assumer. Parce que le A-220, il faut le rappeler, c'est d'abord et avant tout une réussite du génie québécois. C'est ici que ça a été construit, depuis le tout début. Un génie que l'on a choisi comme gouvernement de protéger, de développer et puis de faire rayonner partout à travers le monde, même jusqu'à Air Asia. For several years now, our government has made a clear choice to invest here in Quebec to build a strong, forward-looking aerospace industry. Et les investissements qu'on a fait dans le dossier de la société en commandite Airbus Canada, s'inscrivent dans une perspective de développement économique à long terme. Et aujourd'hui, on en récolte les fruits. The Air Asia order is a resounding validation of Quebec's vision for Mirabel and for the aerospace sector. Cette commande de 150 appareils Airbus 220, 300 par Air Asia, c'est la plus grosse commande d'avions reçus pour Airbus, pour le A-220. Puis on parle même, comme M. Carney l'a dit, de la plus importante commande d'avions de l'histoire de l'industrie aérospatiale québécoise. Bref, c'est majeur. Non seulement ce nouveau client vient consolider le carnet de commandes, mais il déverrouille aussi le marché asiatique. Et Dieu sait qu'on est dans une période où il faut diversifier nos marchés d'exportation, resserrer nos alliances au-delà des États-Unis. Et c'est à vous qu'on regarde en premier lieu. Dans ce contexte géopolitique qui est le nôtre, plus que jamais, il faut réduire notre dépendance à un seul marché et diversifier nos marchés. Le Québec est un leader dans le monde de l'aérospatiale et notre force, c'est notre capacité unique à concevoir, développer certifier et fabriquer des appareils parmi les plus avancés au monde. Vous pouvez compter sur notre gouvernement, le gouvernement du Québec, pour défendre cette industrie stratégique pour notre économie et pour nous assurer également qu'on va aller chercher les contrats qu'il faut du côté du Canada, du fédéral, parce que c'est ici qu'on a mis nos efforts, nos investissements dans le secteur aérospatial et qu'il est maintenant temps qu'on en récolte les fruits pour le moyen et le long terme. Et c'est précisément pour cette raison que Montréal doit jouer aussi un rôle central sur l'échiquier international, avec la création aussi notamment d'une banque dans le domaine de la défense, de la résilience. Just a reminder. La métropole québécoise possède tous les atouts pour héberger cette nouvelle institution financière qui doit voir le jour. On a toute l'expertise dans le domaine aérospatial, on a l'expertise au niveau financier, on a l'énergie. Alors voilà, je pense que ça s'impose comme choix et comme développement logique. Airbus, ici, à Mirabel, c'est 4000 emplois. Et la commande annoncée aujourd'hui va amener un dynamisme renouvelé pour l'économie de la ville, pour l'économie québécoise et pour l'économie canadienne. Et on démontre encore une fois qu'on est capable de livrer la marchandise, que le Québec est ambitieux et qu'il livre la marchandise. Alors, je remercie Airbus Canada de contribuer à bâtir l'industrie aérospatiale avec nous et de contribuer à bâtir l'avenir du Québec. Merci.
Merci, Madame la Première ministre. We will now proceed with the official signature. I would then call back to the stage Mr. Tony Fernandes, Lars Wagner to please take a seat at the table, Prime Minister Carney and Premier Fréchette as well. Guillaume Chevasson, please come to the stage and stand just behind our dear guests and friends who are sitting at the table.
C'est pour une photo
Tony, welcome in the family, welcome in the A220 family, welcome in the Canadian family, and welcome in the Quebec family. Bienvenue au Québec. And there is one thing that is really important here. It's not golf, it's hockey. Okay, and to congratulate you and to make sure that you have the Quebec, and what matters here is this jersey. It's the Canadians. So Tony, you're going to have to wear it.
Merci beaucoup. Nous allons maintenant procéder à une période de questions pour les médias dans la salle. Donc, vous pouvez tranquillement vous lever près du podium. Je vous laisse en compagnie d'Audrey Champoux de l'équipe des communications du premier ministre. So, thank you. We'll now proceed with the 15-minute Q&A session for the media in attendance in Mirabel today. I will now hand over to Audrey Champoux from the communications team of the Prime Minister.
Merci Annabelle. Merci aux médias. Nous allons maintenant passer à la période de questions. S'il vous plaît, limitez-vous à une question de suivi. Et s'il vous plaît, indiquez à qui la question est adressée. Please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. And please indicate who your question is to. Première question, first question.
Oui, bonjour. Sylvain Larocque du Journal de Montréal. Ma première question est pour M. Chevasson. Je voulais savoir... Oui, bonjour. Compte tenu de l'ampleur de la commande, je voulais savoir premièrement à quel moment sont prévues les livraisons et aussi savoir si vous allez être capable de tout assembler ça ici à Mirabel ou si vous allez devoir peut-être compter sur votre installation américaine.
Je vous remercie. Tous les avions qui ont été commandés par Air Asia aujourd'hui, les 150 avions, seront fabriqués et livrés depuis notre site de Mirabel, où on a investi massivement pour pouvoir être capable de répondre à une demande croissante sur le marché de l'A-220. Et donc, je suis ravi d'annoncer qu'effectivement, l'ensemble des 150 avions seront fabriqués et livrés depuis ce site de Mirabel. Alors, quand c'est qu'on va livrer les premiers avions? En général, on laisse la primeur à notre client de l'annoncer. Et donc, bien sûr, Tony, if you want to say when you are supposed to take the first aircraft delivery, you are more than happy to say it because this was part of a question he asked.
Well, we hope in the first quarter of 2028. We're now speccing the aircraft, just seats to be found. Hopefully, maybe if we're really lucky, late 27, but I think first quarter 28.
Merci.
Pour M. Carney, je voulais savoir si le gouvernement fédéral, qui avait un peu investi dans la C-Series, mais pas tant que ça, est-ce que vous seriez intéressé à investir dans l'Airbus A-220?
Premièrement, merci pour votre question. Premièrement, l'ancien gouvernement fédéral a investi 200 millions de dollars dans le C-Series, pas d'actions dans le C-Series, évidemment. Et en ce qui concerne la possibilité excitante d'avoir une A-220 500, le stretch, le large version de la 220. Oui, on travaille dans une étroite collaboration avec le gouvernement du Québec, avec Airbus, afin d'atteindre cet objectif ici à Mirabel et pour le Canada, pour le Québec. Merci.
Prochaine question, next question.
Oui, bonjour, Julien Arsenault de la presse. My question is for Mr. Fernandes. I was curious to see it's a very large order, one of the biggest order for the A220. Why did you feel it was the time to also make a plea for the larger version of this plane?
You know, my philosophy has been built on a very strong network. And two of the driving factors of Air Asia's network, 60% of our routes are routes that were never done before. We go into secondary and tertiary cities. And the second kind of underlying principle of what we do is frequency. So obviously we've bought a lot of 321s, which have 244 seats. Not every route pairing could fill 244 seats. And even in the thick routes, let's say Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, where we fly, every half an hour, some of those flights wouldn't take 244 seats. So having an aircraft at 160 seats enables us to actually improve our margin by about 2 to 3 points and also build a much deeper network. Kuala Lumpur has gone from nowhere to become the #1 hub in Asia and the #4 hub in the world due to connectivity. The 220 will make that so much bigger for us. So that's why we chose the aircraft, for the size and the ability. And there's one more reason. The amazing thing about this aircraft is, when I bought the 320ceo, it only flew 4 hours. This aircraft can fly up to 7 hours. And in Asia, that has a lot of value for us as well.
Question suivie.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Why would you need a larger version of the aircraft?
Oh, because we bought a lot of A320s, and those aircraft are coming to the end of their life. And so 180 seats, if Airbus makes that 180 seats, that's a perfect replacement. So again, we as low-cost airlines generally don't like complexity, but now we'll only have two types of aircraft, 220 and the 321. So we really hope that the 220-500 is built.
Prochaine question, next question.
Good afternoon, Natalia Beixel from CBC News. Question for Prime Minister Mark Carney. Honda is reportedly suspending plans for a $15 billion EV plant in Ontario indefinitely. Has the government been informed of this decision, and how do you convince companies to invest here in Canada when there's so much global uncertainty?
Well, thank you for your question. First, we're in constant contact with all the major automakers, actual, like in other words, currently producing in Canada, and potential. And that includes Honda. So we're in discussions with them constantly. And look, there's no announcement today, to be clear. How do we convince companies to invest in Canada? A couple of things. One is our country has twice the rate of investment, foreign direct investment, than the United States, adjusted for the size of our population, twice the rate. We're at the highest level of foreign direct investment in Canada for 20 years. What you're seeing today, thank you, grâce aux travailleurs et travailleuses ici, les innovateurs, grâce à Airbus, is a huge vote of confidence in the innovation and commitment of the Quebec government, but of the workers here. How do we continue to convince and continue to increase that investment? Connectivity, to borrow Tony's word, those trade deals, those 20 deals, the deal with ASEAN, the deal with India, moving forward like that. Confidence, le mot de Madame la Première ministre du Québec, l'audace. Ça, c'est le moment pour l'audace. It's the moment to be bold, to build big, to have confidence, move forward, open up. That's what we're doing, and we'll continue to get that investment despite the efforts of the Americans. Thank you.
Next question, prochaine question.
Harry North for the Montreal Gazette. My question is for the Prime Minister, and it is two parts. Just how important is the Quebec aerospace industry in your wider foreign policy right now?
Yeah.
And second part is, amid that trade dispute with the US, how important is a potential Stanley Cup run for the Habs at this time?
Okay, I'll enjoy the second part of that. Look, I'll enjoy both parts. How important is the Quebec aerospace industry? Incredibly important. This is I don't think I want to rank our most important industries, but it is amongst, if not the most important industry in Canada. It has huge spillover benefits, tentacles, 60,000 people directly employed in the aerospace industry, 250,000 more broadly, but then you get the multiplier effects of that. In our international discussions, I was just in Armenia meeting with a number of European leaders. In every single discussion, we discussed aerospace partnerships, some of them on the defense side, some of them on the civilian side, some of them stretching into space, where there is expertise as well. And how important is the Habs run? I mean, yeah, there's not much more important. And I look forward to calling the President of the United States and sending him his Habs jersey.
Next question, prochaine question. Mathieu.
Mathieu Dion, Bloomberg News. My question is for you, Mr. Carney. Regarding the privatization, I'm going to stick to the aerospace industry at least. So regarding the privatization of Canadian airports as a way to capitalize your sovereign wealth fund, do you have any considerations on this front? Any timeline? And could foreign investors have an equity stakes in Canadian airports, as we can see with pension funds elsewhere in the world?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One is that We see examples today of a government, the Quebec government, with an investment in an important industry that's helping to make this possible. You see examples, and you will see examples of the Canadian government creating enormous opportunities across the energy sector, across transportation, pôle de contre-cœur, par exemple, more broadly, critical minerals, etc. We think that Canadians should benefit alongside, where appropriate, should benefit alongside the value that's created by the private sector in those. As a junior partner alongside, but not controlling stake. First point. Second, and I'll be quick, with respect to the airports, we're looking, as we've said, we will look at options for the airports so that they better serve Canadians and so that the capital that is tied up in those airports can be redeployed potentially in other ventures that will grow our economy, grow the Quebec economy, grow the Canadian economy. And that's the core of the idea. Thank you.
As for foreign investors.
And for foreign investors, yes, look, we are wide open for foreign investment. We're seeing foreign investment. Airbus, we are living in foreign investment right here. This is foreign investment in our country. We're going to see a lot more of it. We are the #1 destination for foreign direct investment by a mile in the G7, adjusted for the size of our economy, and we want to extend that lead. Thank you.
Prochaine question. Next question.
Elisabeth Laplante de TVA Nouvelles. Une question pour M. Chevasson sur la rentabilité du programme. Est-ce que vous prévoyez atteindre la rentabilité et si oui, à partir de quel moment? Et est-ce que ça va vous permettre de créer des emplois, cette entente?
Bon, un mot sur l'emploi. On a créé énormément d'emplois depuis 3 ans. On a augmenté de 50% le nombre de collaborateurs qui travaillent ici. On a pratiquement 5000 personnes qui travaillent sur le site aujourd'hui. C'est plus de 2500 personnes embauchées sur les 3-4 dernières années. On va continuer à grandir sur le site, on continue à se développer, on continue à investir, on continue à créer de l'emploi. Encore plusieurs centaines cette année. Donc ça, c'est le premier point. On a besoin de continuer à se développer. Le marché le demande. La route à la profitabilité, elle reste essentielle. On n'est pas encore. On voit l'arrivée. Elle est a few miles away. On s'en approche. Et bien évidemment, le vote de confiance, comme une compagnie comme Air Asia nous donne, fait partie de l'ensemble des facteurs qui sont nécessaires pour y arriver. Donc effectivement, on a encore un peu de travail à faire. C'est une priorité pour le programme et on s'en approche rapidement. Je vous remercie.
Prochaine question. Next question.
Oui, bonjour, Monsieur Chevasson. Vous pouvez rester. Stéphane Roland de la presse canadienne. Je voulais clarifier ce que vous avez dit sur les 150 appareils qui allaient être faits à Mirabel. Vous avez pris un peu de retard là, dans la cadence de production. Est-ce que ça veut dire que d'autres appareils vont être faits à Mobile ou est-ce que vous allez changer un peu votre calendrier d'augmentation en cadence? Je me demandais comment vous allez faire fitter tout ça là, dans la production.
C'est un bon challenge pour les collaborateurs. On a les meilleurs collaborateurs du monde qui sont ici sur le site de Mirabel. Donc on a fait 25% de croissance l'an dernier. On doit continuer à augmenter cette année de manière très forte, un peu similaire à ce qu'on a fait l'an dernier. Et on a aujourd'hui la confiance d'être capable de pouvoir produire et livrer ces avions depuis le site de Mirabel. On s'équipe pour ça, on continue à recruter pour ça. Et on n'est pas en retard par rapport au plan. On est là où on voudrait être. Et on a devant nous encore une belle croissance. On a annoncé qu'en 2028, on veut être à cadence 13 avions par mois. Ça, c'est l'objectif annoncé. Donc, on a 2 ans pour y arriver. On a livré 93 avions l'an dernier. Et on doit arriver dans 2 ans à 13 avions produits par mois. Et évidemment, 2 tiers de ces avions seront produits ici, sur le site de Mirabel. Et l'ensemble de la commande pour Air Asia sera produite ici.
Next question. Prochaine question.
Morgan Lowry with the Canadian Press. My question's for Mr. Carney. So there are 9 Senate seats vacant right now and another 6 senators retiring this year. When do you intend to begin appointing senators, and do you intend to follow Justin Trudeau's process or to return to more overtly partisan appointments?
Thank you for your question. We will be appointing senators in due course, and I will take into account the advice of the Independent Advisory Committee that was established by my predecessor. Thank you.
Next question. Prochaine question.
Bonjour, Christophe Godon d'Info Mirabel. Ma question est pour Mark Carney. L'aérospatiale était absente de la stratégie dans la dernière mise à jour économique. À quand la politique nationale pour assurer la pérennité de l'industrie au Québec?
Alors, premièrement, c'est une mise à jour économique. Ce n'est pas un budget. Et dans le budget, il y a plusieurs aspects pour l'industrie aérospatiale, y compris la superdéduction pour les investissements. Et il faut le dire, il faut souligner que maintenant, le Canada, le taux pour l'investissement ici au Canada, en effet, c'est le taux marginal, mais ça, c'est le taux qui pose, si je peux dire comme ça, c'est le taux qui pose. Alors, nouvelle phrase peut-être? Non? OK. Mais ça, c'est 4,5 points d'intérêt plus bas que les États-Unis. Ça, c'est une tiers de moyenne du G7. Oui, c'est le plus bas taux d'investissement dans le G7, le taux marginal. Merci, madame de l'industrie. Alors, mais on fait beaucoup. On a un fonds stratégique, par exemple. On a la compagnie d'exportation et développement, tout cela. On fait beaucoup et beaucoup avec le gouvernement du Québec pour ce secteur.
Time for one last question. Dernière question.
This is Nick Van Pratt from the Globe and Mail. Question is for Prime Minister Carney. The CEO of Cenovus Energy this morning made some comments. I'm not sure if you saw them, but he said the national dialogue on further development of the oil sands has been myopically focused on the climate agenda and climate policy, and then investors have left Canada for more competitive jurisdictions. I'd like your thoughts, please.
Well, I start by observing the following, which is that the oil production in Canada, largely driven by the oil sands, is at a record high. It's moved up over the course of the last decade from 3 million barrels per day to over 5 million barrels per day. That brings great benefits to the country, but it also is a source of our emissions, is one of the biggest sources of our national emissions. And one of the factors, and you only, I'm going to anchor this in the discussion today, or what we're celebrating today, what Air Asia is doing, what Tony Fernandes has helped to lead. When you look at Asia, biggest, fastest growing market, crucial to the future of Quebec, future of Canada, is building those links. What they're looking for, and you see it in the choice of the A-220, is not just efficiency, but low emissions. One of the selling factors is that emissions are 25% lower than previous, because they're looking for that efficiency over the long haul. And one of the factors, one of the key selling points for Canadian conventional energy will be that it's low risk. Canada is the lowest risk jurisdiction. Low cost, low marginal cost. We are continuing to work on that. And low carbon. And so getting the emissions down will put us in a position. And I will tell you that from direct conversations with a series of governments across Asia, that's what they're looking for the medium term. That's what the Government of Canada is working with the Government of Alberta in order to produce a comprehensive approach through our MOU. We're making good progress on that, and that's going to make the oil sands more competitive. It's going to make Canada more competitive as part of a much bigger energy transition that's happening. And I can't speak, and I'll finish here, being in Quebec, without observing just the fundamental strength that's given from the clean energy that comes from this great province. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Merci à tous nos participants. C'est ce qui m'a fait à notre période de questions. This puts an end to our press conference. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Donc, c'est ce qui conclut l'événement d'aujourd'hui pour les personnes en ligne, les personnes dans la salle. On va maintenant procéder aux photos officielles. Merci beaucoup d'avoir été des nôtres. Donc, thank you very much. So this concludes the event today. For the people attending online and in the room, we'll now do official pictures. Thank you for having been with us.